My name is Ariel Cohen. I'm from Washington, D.C. I'm the director of Center for Energy, Natural Resources, and Geopolitics at the Institute for the Analysis of Global Security. Before that, for 21 years, I was at the Heritage Foundation running Eurasia, including Caspian and international energy programs. Today, we have a terrific panel with great leaders of energy and of politics from the region, from Azerbaijan, from Europe, and from the Middle East. To my left is Mr. Natig Aliyev, the distinguished Minister of Energy of Azerbaijan. To his left, Ms. Dalia Itzik, the former chairman of the Israeli Knesset. And to her left, not necessarily politically, is Prime Minister Mirko Cvetkovic of Serbia. To set the stage, I would like to go through a presentation that will put the current developments of energy in the Caspian in the European perspective. I think we're living in an era of paradigm shifts, both the shift to shale, secondly, the shift of natural gas to LNG, and the shift of transportation to electric power away from oil. In suburban Washington, D.C., where I live, I see electric cars such as Tesla, Nissan, GM Volt, and others all the time, more and more of electric cars. Tesla is coming out with a battery that you can charge in your house and discharge into the system or sell electricity. These are transformational technologies, and for those of us who are in the energy business, these are important milestones that we need to address. The first graph is the percentages of natural gas consumed in Europe. In green, 34% of the indigenous production, 21% Norway, 27% Russia. This was a condition in 2013. For obvious reasons, the consumption of Russian gas is declining, and the remaining about 15% in blue, Qatar, Algeria, Nigeria, Trinidad, etc. This is LNG. LNG is becoming a commodity. It is trading globally. The connection of price between oil and spot natural gas is decoupling, is disappearing. We are entering into the era of LNG as a commodity. It will be more important, including in Europe, but the competition of price is going to be crucial, as well as the interconnectors that will bring LNG from the places where the terminals are located to the markets. Here you see which countries are more dependent on Russian gas or less dependent. The ones with green, like Bulgaria, 100%, like Czech Republic, 75% or 80%. Hungary, Greece are all very, very dependent on Russian gas. The answer to that, I maintain, is diversification. You bring molecules into Europe that are not Gazprom molecules, that can be Azerbaijani molecules, and there will be Azerbaijani molecules. But they also can be, in the future, Turkmenistan molecules. They can be molecules from Israel and Cyprus. They can be molecules from all over the world coming in the form of LNG. And here you see in red-orange, starting, it's not drafted correctly, but it starts from the Caspian. Azerbaijan, Georgia, and then Turkey, that is the TANAP, Trans-Anatolian Pipeline, going to then top the green connection from Turkey to Greece to Italy. Then there was a plan for Nabucco. The plan was abandoned, so was South Stream, and now they are coming up with a new project called Turkish Stream. The question we experts ask is, can TANAP TAP and Turkish Stream coexist? Can they be complementary and not competitors? A lot of people I talk to and you talk to say it will be difficult to have a large Turkish stream of 63 BCM, billion cubic meters a year, and a smaller TAP-TANAP. What I think may happen, you have a very small Turkish stream, like 16 BCM, one line, and TAP-TANAP with expansion of TANAP-TAP with Shahdenis 2 and Shahdenis 3, and hopefully, inshallah, a connection from Turkmenistan into Azerbaijan. You also have Eastern Mediterranean. Large amounts of rather expensive offshore gas located between Cyprus and Lebanon and Israel. I wish I had a laser pointer, but I don't. So please follow. We're not in the United States. People can read maps. Large amounts of gas that can go either to Europe in two ways. One is LNG, and the other one would be a pipeline, or most of this gas will stay in the region, go to Israel, to Egypt, which is a huge market of 80 million people, to Jordan, and then eventually to Turkey, etc. If it's a pipeline, it can go to Turkey, which would be the easiest way to ship this gas via Turkey to Europe. Or if Mr. Erdogan does not want to play ball, it can be a more expensive solution. Maybe now it's not realistic because how expensive it is, but in the future, it will go from Cyprus straight west to Crete, and then from Crete into Greece and further into Europe. The other solution, of course, is take all this gas, turn it into LNG, and bring it to the world market. Another huge source of gas is Iran and northern Iraq, Kurdistan. You see the network in Iran. It's an underdeveloped network, and if Iran opens up, there will be a lot of investment, and a big boon, a big prize for the Iranian leadership is to develop LNG in the south between Qatar and Iran. There is the largest gas field in the world. They will develop it into LNG, benefiting in tens of billions of dollars over the period of 30 years. Africa, I will start wrapping it up so our distinguished panelists can talk. Africa has already pipelines. You see a pipeline in yellow to Spain, in red and orange to Italy and Sardinia and Corsica. LNG terminals, the Baltic states, Poland, Lithuania. Lithuania opened a terminal. Poland will open a terminal. LNG will be coming to Central and Northern Europe. Estonia, Latvia are still negotiating different schemes. Estonia may go with Finland. Latvia may or may not make up its mind. We should ask Ms. Freiberger about that. Northern Europe, Norway, still a huge supply. The interconnectors are very important to bring gas in the European system, and Europe now is talking about an energy union of some kind that will improve the negotiating position vis-à-vis Gazprom and other suppliers. But of course, that makes Europe face a lot of regulatory and political hurdles. The Russian supply is huge. It's cheap. The infrastructure is there. You can argue whether Russia needs or doesn't need additional pipelines. They did build a successful Nord Stream pipeline. The South Stream met with resistance because of Ukraine. Finally, shale. Shale is a highly political issue. We in the United States are benefiting from abundant shale gas and shale oil, And in a few years, the United States will not only is going to be self-sufficient with natural gas and export natural gas by 2018, we will also have abundant oil from shale so that our dependence on Middle Eastern oil, Venezuelan oil, will go down. North America can be easily self-sufficient in terms of oil, including shale oil, if you take into account Mexico, US, and Canada. Thank you very much. This was setting the stage. Now let's drill down, pun intended, with Natig Aliyev, please.
Thank you so much, Aliyev. I'm very proud to be here with you, Your Excellencies, ambassadors, ministers, prime ministers, distinguished guests and participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, again, I would like to say that it is a great honor for me to be with you and make some presentation about the situation on the energy market, world energy market, in the situation in Azerbaijan, and first of all, I would like to say that Azerbaijan government respect all the relations with our friendly countries, especially with EU, European Union, United States, Asia, and we are very happy to have a lot of people, politicians, and the people on the economy sphere, financial institutions, in Azerbaijan, in Baku. I would like to say, and thank you very much, Ariel, you gave us very wide information about the situation in the world, and I would like to say that we now lived in the world which constantly faces with the energy problems, and each country now, you know, they try to solve their energy problems because energy resources, energy is the very main driver of economy, and each country would like to solve the problem which are connected, the first one, with the diversification of the sources, and on our hand, with the diversification of routes. That is why Ariel said, but I would like to just emphasize that in the Energy Outlook 2014, it was emphasized that 1.3 billion people in the world live in the when they are not able to use the modern electricity. And I would like to see, and like you see, it is just for information. There is, like I said, 1.3 billion people without energy services, you know, and it is 18% of the population of the world, you know. And we will just see traditional use of biomass for cooking. It is more than that number of people who lives without access to electricity. It is 38%. And it is a big problem, and it has to be solved by the world community. I would like just very briefly to show you what is the now situation in the world, and if we just see, you know, and to predict what will be after 20 years, we would like, you know, we will see that the map of the energy of the world changing very dramatically. Because we see new players on the energy market, we see new great consumers, we see the energy resources which are located not the equal partially, but if we see the biggest consumers in 2035, it will be Asia with very big population, and they are the very big growth of GDP, rate of GDP, and oil demand will be raised, electricity demand will be raised, and like you see, we need more and more energy resources, especially oil and gas. And the outlook is that oil will be the main energy resources which keeps its role in the future. I would like, again, just about world oil production. If you see, in 1914, it was just only 57 million tons was produced in the world. But if you just see 2013, it is 80 times we increased our production in the world, and it will be going, this trend will be continue up to 2040. Like I said, it is just information about countries who produce the oil and gas resources, and this is the main countries, and if you see, I show here the oil reserves, production, consumption, export, and processing capacity. And if we just see on the countries in the world, Azerbaijan is on the 10th of these countries for all these figures on just per capita. It is like I show you, we have now tremendous resource of oil, gas, and if we just take in consideration that Azerbaijan is not so big republic with big population and so on, that is why per capita we are on the top of the 10 countries in the world. Again, I would like to give very brief information about Azerbaijan. It is geoeconomic and energy outlook in Azerbaijan, and you see that GDP growth in Azerbaijan is yearly, annually increase, and we have the biggest, growth in, like you see, in 2008, 9, 10, and these years the average annual growth, it was more than 50% per year. I would like again to give you this picture about the oil production and gas production in Azerbaijan. You can see that in just only 10 years ago, we have very small production, oil production. And in 10 years, we increase it, and last year we produced 42 million tons of oil, crude oil, and gas production. If we just have in 2003, we have only 5 billion cubic meters per year. Now we produce 29 cubic meters per year. And I would like to say that Azerbaijan is one of the very few countries outside OPEC, that has increased its conventional oil output in these years. In our region, for your information, Azerbaijan holds the largest crude oil refining capacity with 22 million tons per year. Now we have a very wide program to develop the our refineries. We have the state program on the developing oil and petrochemical industry. That is why we will construct very new entities with 10 billion cubic meters gas refinery, 10 million tons the new refinery, and petrochemical entities for having chemical products. But now, and Ariel said that now the natural gas, comes and become more and more important energy resources in the world. And now the energy security of the country depends from how this country can provide the energy security by the, like I said before, by the diversification of the sources and routes. And I would like to say about Azerbaijan. In that case, the Azerbaijan have very great potential. And now the proven resources and all resources of gas in Azerbaijan in our existing fields or prospective structures, it is 2.6 trillion cubic meters. If you just have very simple calculations, we produce now 29 billion, and if you just take in consideration that we have reserves 2.6 trillion, it means that Azerbaijan will produce in the same rate of production more than 90 years. That is why it gives us opportunity to have our own energy policy. And we have, like you said, this is the potential gas production, and the main our resource is Chardonnay, this very unique gas condensate field. This is world-class gas field, and the main sources is Chardonnay. And what we're implementing now, it is the stage 2, and Ariel said after that will be stage 3, and maybe another. But we have a lot of in our sources, and first of all, recently we discovered new gas fields. This is Umid. These reserves, it is more than 300 billion cubic meters. We drilled already 2 wells. We produce this natural gas from this structure. In nearest future, the number of wells will be increased, and we will have in our volumes of gas. The second one, it is Absheron, field, which was discovered by Total and Gaz de France. Now they have and approve the very big program to develop this Absheron field, and as they promising us in 2020 or latest with 2021, it will be first gas production from the Absheron gas field, and very soon it can be increased to 5 billion cubic meters per year. We have in our Zafar Mashal structures and in ours, and you see we up to 2050 we will have a lot of sources to increase our volumes. Depends from the how it will, what will be energy market in Europe and our countries, neighboring countries. But we are now have a program when we just have the aim to increase our production, gas production at up to 50, 60 BCM. In that case, Azerbaijan will be one of the main exporter, of natural gas to neighboring countries and energy in Europe market. Ariel showed you this map. Now, the main project for Azerbaijan, and I would like to say, that Azerbaijan fulfill all the programs, program minimum and program maximum on the developing our oil and gas industry. And we started since 1994, and now, like I said, we are net exporter country. We not depend from, our country on the energy resources. Now we exported the crude oil, natural gas, electricity to all the neighboring countries. And that is why, on our nearest future, for Azerbaijan, it is very important to implement another very important project, which will give us the opportunity to become gas exporter country. And you know that is Southern Gas Corridor. All of you know this history, and I would like to say that for Southern Corridor there is no problem, because there is goodwill of all the politics and countries to implement this project. It is not only words, but this is on the base of the official political documents, intergovernmental agreements, decisions, and so on and so on. The second, we now, maybe the main problem for implementing such project is financing. But we have no problem with financing now, because Shahdan Stage 2, Southern Gas Corridor, we implement the Stage 2 and expanding the gas pipeline, Southern Caucasus gas pipeline, on our own money and the money of our foreign companies, our partners. And you know that operator of this project is BP Exploration. We turn up, we have, sorry, this is just show capital costs. I think that on our latest data, it is Southern Gas Corridor project capital cost will be 47.1 billion. The upstream Shahdan it's about 25 billion US dollars. South Caucasus pipeline 5. Trans-Anatolian gas pipeline it is 11.8, but I think that in this situation it will be cheaper, maybe about 10 billion, and Trans-Adriatic gas pipeline. And all of them, I again would like to emphasize that there is no any financial problem, because all of them we implement on money of Azerbaijan and our companies, partners. This is Chardonnay's project. You know, it is very complicated project. Technically, you know, we will have to construct two new platforms, you know, and it will be drilled 26 subsea wells, you know, and it will very technological platform over. It will be constructed more than 500 subsea pipelines to connect these platforms with Sangachal terminal. And now about more than 25% of the scope of work was done. We are go ahead of the program now, you know, and eight wells was drilled almost now, and they are ready to produce the gas. But we just will wait for construction these platforms. I'm very sorry, maybe I am so long, but very briefly, TANAP, Ariel said about the TANAP, it is the longest pipeline, you know, and about 1,800 kilometers with very difficult conditions. It will be constructed, you know, and just the second one, the third one, it is the TAP project. It is very, very important for us, for Azerbaijan, because it gives us opportunity to bring natural gas to Europe market. And you know that in 2013, when it was we made a final investment decision, we signed all the sale purchase agreement about the natural gas, and the 6 BCM, it is the minimum gas what will be produced on the frame of the stage 2 Chardonnays. It's 16 BCM, but it is minimum. I think that it will be more. About maybe in my mind, you know, I have moral right to speak it, you know, and to say it, because I'm oil man. Well, it will be more. Maybe 20 or 25 BCM will be produced on Chardonnays, because just imagine that one well every day gives 5 million cubic meters, and there will be 26 additional producing wells. It's very simple calculations. But again, this is TAP is very important for us, because we bring the natural gas to Europe. And I can, speak about it very long, but I'm very sorry for that. But I would like to say that now we are live in the world when we have to use all the sources of energy. And I think that oil, gas, renewables, nuclear, and our sources, coal, and our sources. What? Because the world needs more and more energy. Without enough resources of energy, we never solve the economical or social problems in country. We never solve the economical problems. That is why. But what would we do? I think it's very simple. We have to cooperate with countries, with companies, with peoples to solve very difficult and complicated energy problems. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aliyev. This was a comprehensive presentation. Now we will hear from the panel. I would ask the panelists to limit their remarks to about 5 minutes each. And Foreign Minister Hikmet Cetin from Turkey. Thank you. Will address, of course, the Turkey very important role as the transit and possibly the hub of gas. And Turkey, of course, is an important partner of Azerbaijan in the project of the century, Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan. Mr. Minister.
Thank you very much. First, let me say a few words about the importance of energy security. Energy security is a paramount national interest for all countries, whether you are consumer end or on the producing end or transferring country. Energy security is now increasingly associated with the concept of such as foreign policy, national security, economic growth, and sustainable development for every country. In other words, energy security is becoming rather a strategic concept today. Almost everything depends on the safe and constant flow of energy. This is why energy security is a leading agenda item in most international fora, including this very important meeting. Energy security is faced with diverse challenges. Energy pipeline may come under terrorist attack. It happens sometimes in this part of the world. Producing country can close down the valves to punish consumer countries for political ends. It's happened couple years ago between Russia and Europe faced with very difficult problems at that time. Today, energy become a weapon of domestic, regional, or international political strategies, because some country can use energy as a part of the foreign policy, part of international policy even, which is very, very important. It is clear that energy security can also be a critical tool for cooperation in peace as well. I will give one or two examples for that. One is that, let's look in this very region. Had Armenia chosen the path of peace and cooperation with its neighbors, it will have enormous benefit. Caspian oil and gas would go through its territory into Turkey and beyond. I remember when I was foreign minister in 1991, went to NATO ministerial meeting to Brussels. And at that time, of course, Jimmy Baker was foreign minister of US. We tried to convince the Armenian that we have to reach a peace for Nagorno-Karabakh, because we knew that in the future there will be gas and oil in this part of the world, and closest way would be, of course, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Turkey. But unfortunately, it did not happen. Another example, of course, about the Eastern Mediterranean. Now in Eastern Mediterranean, of course, Israel and Northern Cyprus, they have discovered very important amount of gas. And how you can transfer this gas to Europe and other part of the world? Of course, the shortest way will be, again, as we talk about it, go to northern Cyprus, and from there to Turkey, and go to Europe. This will, of course, I think will affect the peaceful solution to the region as well. And this is the way to use energy as a tool of peace and cooperation in any part of the world. And I think in Eastern Mediterranean, we need that, and that will be a wonderful opportunity to look at that project. Because we do need peace in that part of the world. Look at how the situation in the Middle East. And I do hope that it will happen. I am very much optimistic about that because now we have a newly elected president in Northern Cyprus. I hope they will do better, try to resolve the issue, and will have that pipeline through Turkey. It would have paved the way to an era of peace and prosperity for all countries in the region as well. Unfortunately, this is not what is happening now. I think we can all agree that whether we are producers or consumers, we all need and are dependent on energy. It is a universal asset that should be used peacefully for all humanity. This is a very, very important issue. We can always try and must continue our efforts to resolve existing regional and international conflicts to open the way to cooperation on energy issues as well. But the prospect of peaceful international order is not realistic and not within reach. If we look at the system, we see that international community has developed condition on selected topics. I think we can take a similar approach to energy security. We can develop a convention on energy security. It could be called Convention on Energy Security. This would deal not with commercial side, but only with the security dimensions of the politics of energy as well. My proposal, of course, I think UN should take this kind of initiative because energy is so important that I do think, in my personal view, we need some convention on energy as well. The basic idea is to make everyone look at the energy as a positive asset, a soft power in the service of humanity, not as a means of hard power in any part of the world. I know this is all idealistic and not easy to realize, but we must divorce energy from the political conflicts and to try to do for humanity, for security, for economic development and everything. My final message on this issue, of course, will be we must develop new approach to dealing with current challenges. I don't know what already been mentioned, but for us, for Turkey, of course, the relation with Azerbaijan, it's very important, of course. And I think Turkey could be the hub to transfer the Caspian gas and oil and also Middle East gas and oil through Turkey to send to other parts of the world. And for us, for example, TANAP is very important, and the construction will start this year. I think you have maybe mentioned this year. And we are thinking that in 2018, Turkey will be able to have gas from TANAP, and in 2019 sent to Europe. This is very, very important because we will, at the beginning, the first part, it is about 16 BCM. 6 billion Turkey will use it, 10 billion will go to Europe. But the capacity is 31. And with some technical, I think, justice, it can go beyond over 50 BCM. It's also possible. But for this, we need the cooperation of 3 countries at the beginning: Turkey, Azerbaijan, and Turkmenistan. They already started some meeting. I think that will happen, and if we could have around, let's say, 63 BCM. With 63 BCM, I think that Europe will have the very important alternative, and not be depending on one country or one sources. And I think it's already 5 minutes. Okay, I better stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I remember writing a piece about Turkey's role as a hub and a transit country over 11 years ago, and now, slowly, it is being implemented. And as your current Prime Minister said, 0 problems with neighbors make you a good energy hub. So I really hope that you will have 0 problems with neighbors.
We have all problems.
Yeah. Now, Minister Cetin mentioned the Eastern Med as another alternative source of natural gas for the region and for places further away from the region. And we couldn't have a better spokesperson for that than Dalia Itzik.
Thank you. Your permission, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, let me to introduce myself. I am a Jerusalemite, Jerusalem, the holy city for all the religions. And you give me the opportunity to thank you so much, Mr. Energy, first of all, about your wonderful experience, and your lecture was very interesting. But, you know, I came as a speaker of a parliament, the only woman till now, and also I had the privilege to serve my country as the president of Israel for a short time, but also I served as Minister of Trade and Commerce, Minister of Communication, and also I served as Minister of, Minister of, Environment. Now, in your permission, I would like to emphasize something. We, you know, found now a miracle. Why? Because many years, we were dependent on many countries, but it was very difficult on finding gas. Do you hear me well? And now happened the miracle, and we found gas. And many years we try in the Middle East, in the Mediterranean Sea, to try to find, and we didn't. And now we found, and by a private man, his name is Itzhak Tshuva. And now we are in the process, in the beginning of the process, to try to find a formula, how we going to share with our neighbors, and also to share with your experience. You have wonderful experience finding and what is the tool to try to, you know, also to reduce the tension between the neighbors. But as you said so well, the gas is so important for every country. But I think it's the Middle East, because the reasons that you know is so important, because maybe, inshallah, once we can share with our neighbors, and we can take the revenues and to target them and to aim them to another field, like education, communication, like culture, like technology, which is so important, medicines, and even to educate for many values that all of us share together, like democracy, like human rights, like women's rights. So many things that I believe that we have in the Middle East to try to achieve. And I see this country in Baku. This is the first time my visit, and I so impressed by the development, by the achievement. I saw one of the figures who participated here, and he told me that he was here 4 years ago, and he said, you know, I didn't recognize the city. I thought I'm in some another place. So also you give me the opportunity to bless you and to praise you for your wonderful achievements. And of course, we are in the beginning of the process, and our parliament is going to initiate law because we don't want that one man will keep all these sources, all this gas that we just found. So we are in the middle of the process to find formula, and also we ask also another companies, foreign companies, who can be part of this tender when we will publish the tenders about the gas. My dream, I believe that my government dream, and I believe that the people of Israel dream, that once we will say that we use all this money that we get from the gas and target them to values that all of us share together. I am a great believer in education. I believe in education from the beginning. This is my background. I was deputy mayor of Jerusalem, and I was in charge of education, and I believe that everything starts with education. And if we want once to win the extremism in every country, we have to educate. We have to give them education. We have to give them the tools. One of the tools is the gas. If you reduce your independence and you feel that you create more independence, so you feel confidence to contribute the money to the other fields. Again and again, you give me the opportunity for the warm hospitality, for the wonderful food, and for the very, very interesting subject that this forum gave us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dalia, Itzik, you're absolutely right. Israel is making this decision. Unfortunately, it's taking Israel a very, very long time. And the political, because it's a democracy, of course, it's a big plus, but the democratic process also prolongs the deliberations and brings to bear all kinds of competing interests. So hopefully, inshallah, this decision will be made by the new government when it is formed.
Inshallah.
Finally, I don't know if we'll find Mr. Fisher, but the former Prime Minister of Serbia, at this point, our last speaker, and then we'll open for Q&A.
Thank you. I will try to stick within 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, the words energy security, cooperation and peace that are the words from the title of this panel are the key words for when we are talking about the prosperity and the quality of human's life. Of course, I'm not going to tell you anything that you already don't know, or maybe something that will change. Okay, shall I go? Maybe. Okay, is it better now? Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to say that I'm not going to tell you anything revolutionary, but I believe that I will tell you something that might provoke your questions and a discussion. Energy, of course, is important because energy is an input in each and every activity, and that is why it is so high in the agenda of any government. Of course, the different countries are having different approaches and problems related to the energy. There are countries like our host which are having a surplus in all kind of energy, so they are not so much concentrated on energy security. But of course, even those countries are thinking how to diversify their industry and actually to make a contribution to their GDP based on not only the energy but also the other other products. For my country, Serbia, I must unfortunately say that we do not have sufficient energy. So for us, energy security is a top issue. Just a few information about the situation in Serbia. If you are looking at the electricity in Serbia is produced based on fossil fuel fired power plants and also hydro power plants. Fossil fuel in our case means low calorific lignite, which basically is all the designs for those power plants are made that these are constructed in the neighborhood of a big lignite basin, so the big capacity of lignite excavation produce the possibility to make electricity at the low cost. Of course, you know that lignite is creating environmental problems, and also there might be some situation in which some accidents that you have to take into account to produce security. For example, last year we had a flood, and one of the biggest open pit mines overnight became the big lake. It took us months to recover, and even now I don't think everything is in order as it used to be like a year ago. Nevertheless, I mean, the other sources for production of the electricity, like new and renewable sources, like solar, wind, biomass, they are in a very, very, so to speak, initial stage, so their contribution to the total electricity production is not so important. I don't remember if I told you that approximately the ratio between the coal-fired power plants and hydro is about 70 versus 30%. So 30% is from hydro. But looking overall, we are self-sufficient with electricity. In some period of the year, we may come to the shortages, then we import, but in the other period, we are exporting, so our balance pretty much is okay. Nevertheless, in the future, probably we will have to consider some additional production of the electricity. As it goes to the crude, we do have some crude oil production locally. However, the percentage in the total consumption is like 20%. So we are very much dependent on the important crude. We do have a local refinery with a capacity which is sufficient to cover all the local market needs, but local crude oil is, as I said, only 1/5 of what we need. Fortunately, there is a relatively good and developed international market for crude, so you can easily import and transport to the local refinery. The worst situation is, of course, with gas. We also have some local production, which is like 15%, so 1/5, not 5-0. And the majority of the gas is imported. To make a situation even less favorable, we have only one connection for the import of gas, and this connection goes, this is of course Russian gas, and it comes from Hungary. And we are fully dependent. If there is no supply from this side, then we are lost, like it happened like 2-3 years ago. In the meantime, we have constructed one storage which can help for a limited period, but nevertheless our situation is not as good. We have discussed with Gazprom about the South Stream. It was mentioned during our today's discussion. And about 3-4 years ago, maybe more, we have signed a kind of a contract, and we were happy, believing that we have resolved in a strategic way energy security for the actual and the future needs. Unfortunately, you know that the South Stream is no longer available, and we are now looking very seriously to find out what the other solution might be. We have been discussing with our European colleagues. There is an idea for a relatively modest project, and this is connection with Bulgaria, but again, this is not diversification of supply. This is the same supplier. This is only the diversification of the routes, so to speak, so it doesn't really resolve our problem. I was very pleased to learn that there are another projects which are available, probably not, I mean, it will take some time, but at least there are serious options that but for sure the Serbian government will seriously consider, including all those pipelines that are coming through Turkey from Azerbaijan, and also this gas that can come from the States. To complete my short discussion, I would like to come back to the title of this panel. This is obviously, even from my discussion, that whenever you are talking about the energy, this is always talk about the politics. To answer the question, if it is possible that energy security is used as a tool for cooperation and peace, I would actually say that it is the same as saying, is it possible to use politics as a tool for cooperation and peace? And my answer is, of course, it is possible, because policy is to create cooperation and peace. Unfortunately, sometimes policy can create something which is quite different that everybody would like. Nevertheless, I am optimist, because I believe that we are clever, we are responsible people, and we will use politics for the cooperation and peace for the sake of the future generations. Thank you.
I would do a quick round with the panelists, Q&A, maybe just real quick, and then think about the questions you have to this distinguished panel, and we will go from there. So the first question to Minister of Energy of Azerbaijan, Mr. Natig Aliyev. Prime Minister Cvetkovic said that they would like to diversify. Would you like to build a spur or a pipeline from TAP or Nabucco West project that would involve the Balkan countries?
Thank you so much for this question. I just remember that very recently we were with our president with an official visit to Bulgaria. And this question was raised, you know, and everybody knows that Southern Gas Corridor, it is not only the straight destination to Italy, but we have a lot of branches, you know, in various directions. And one of them, it is very important for all of us, it is the IGB project. This is interconnection between Greece and Bulgaria. That is why. I think that it is the priority project not only for Bulgaria, but all the European Union, and, you know, interconnection between Greece and Bulgaria it was involved in the European common interests projects. That is why I think that in nearest future it will be ready, and Azerbaijan and our countries will have opportunity to bring natural gas to Bulgaria and after to Romania and our Balkans countries. The second one, it is the way when we are speaking on our Advisory Council in Baku was held on the 12th of February, and we speak about the Ionic Adriatic pipeline. I think that it is very, prospective project, and we go through Albania, via Albania to Balkan countries. That is why the next project, which are you speaking, it is the interconnecting between the Southeast Europe countries. And now, in European Commission, it is very, very important project to interconnect all the countries by the very small pipelines which are connect them between themselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister Aliyev. In the interest of time, I would open for Q&A from the floor. Please introduce yourself, and because we started late and I would like to finish almost on time, please make it short. David?
Okay. Yes? Yes. Golda Meir famously said that Moses had to wander the desert for 40 years before he found a place in the Middle East that didn't have oil. And now, because of the Western Med and gas, there's 2 U.S. companies that have been exploring for gas and oil in Israel. Now, the Southern Gas Corridor is linking Azerbaijan to all these European countries and moving quite well. But in Israel, it seems like with the price of oil going from 100 and something down to 50, all the oil companies and gas companies cutting capital expenditures, that hurdles are being put in the face of Noble Energy to complete this. I hate to put you on the spot here, but it's too simplistic to think that a new government can handle these issues because they've put it into the courts. So my question is what's the expectation after Noble Energy has made all these investments in exploration, that there's going to be another company that will come in to produce it? And is Israel still hopeful that, like the Southern Gas Corridor is connecting Azerbaijan to Europe, that Israel can play a larger role to Jordan and Egypt to try and handle their energy issues? Thank you.
David, if I heard well your question, so as you know, in the Middle East, we lack any natural sources. Even water we don't have. But we understand that we share with our neighbors the same, water. The water doesn't understand what it means borders. So we breathe the same air, we drink the same water, we share the same skies, and we understand that it's very important that our neighbors feel secure in many issues. Just to give you an example, we did and we signed a treaty, an agreement with the Jordanian. And as you know, we lack water in Israel. And in the agreement, we gave to the Jordanian a very significant amount of water. So if I heard your question well, as I told you, we just started the process. So, in democracy, as Mr. Cohen said, you have many obstacles sometimes, but we have to pass all the process. So it took I think, till now, 5 years when we founded the gas. It takes, I assume, I hope, another 2 or 3 years until we know how we going. It's a miracle for us. We are so excited by finding this resource. But we started now the process, and we have concentration committee who, one of the target of this committee is to understand and to find solution how we distribute this gas also to another neighbors and how we can use it. And of course, as I said, this country, Azerbaijan, has a lot of experience, and we would like to share the experience with them. Thank you for your question.
This highlights the role of Azerbaijan as an example in development of natural resources. I see one hand here. Yes, please. If you can introduce yourself and ask a question.
Спасибо. Я Дилдыз Жолдошева, депутат парламента Кыргызской республики, лидер фракции «Атадёр». У меня вопрос господину министру по энергетике Азербайджанской республики. Вообще в экономике всегда присутствует политика. То есть экономика без политики не бывает. Вопрос. Есть намерение Азербайджана протянуть газ в сторону Средней Азии, в том числе Центральной Азии? Если есть, через какие страны? Какие страны будут в роли транзита? Конкуренция должна быть везде. Да, конечно, у нас в нашу сторону сейчас обеспечивает газ Россия, Узбекистан.
Спасибо.
Но нам бы очень хотелось. Вот такой вопрос, пожалуйста, ответьте.
Спасибо.
Спасибо вам.
Господин министр.
Благодарю вас за вопрос. Я в своем выступлении уже сказал, что каждая страна имеет свою энергетическую политику, и в соответствии с ней решаются конкретные вопросы поставок тех или иных природных ресурсов, энергоресурсов на мировые рынки. Азербайджан, начиная свою новую стратегию в области энергии, которая, вы знаете, основоположником которой был Гейдар Алиев, национальный лидер, мы сделали свой выбор, изучив полностью все имеющиеся реальные рынки энергоресурсов. И для нас и в то время, и сейчас наиболее благоприятным рынком энергоресурсов для Азербайджана, конечно, является западное направление. Мы уже говорили с некоторыми и политиками, и экономистами. Конечно, для Азербайджана это наиболее благоприятный, потому что поставки наших энергоресурсов проходят через те транзитные страны, которые не являются в принципе даже для нас конкурентами, потому что они не имеют своих собственных достаточных ресурсов. И в первую очередь такая наша дружеская страна, как Грузия, Турция, вот видите, Греция, Болгария, Албания там, и так далее. То есть наш путь, наш газовый коридор или нефтяной коридор, когда мы думали о том, как поставить первую нефть Азербайджана на рынке, вы помните, это был тоже диверсификация была определенная, это был Новороссийск в русском порту, это был Супса в Грузии, а потом уже в Джейхане. То же самое у нас с газом. Поэтому, в принципе, я думаю, что европейский рынок достаточно привлекательный. И поэтому мы столько лет уже ведем переговоры о том, чтобы наоборот, из Центральной Азии с ее огромными газовыми ресурсами, чтобы мы могли создать мост через Каспийское море и доставить среднеазиатские газовые ресурсы, в том числе и особенно Туркмении, который, вы знаете, является Россия, Катар, Иран, Туркменистан. Это крупнейшие обладатели ресурсов в мире. Поэтому, конечно, я думаю, что с той точки зрения, о которой вы говорите, мне кажется, что для государств Центральной Азии гораздо было бы привлекательнее открыть для себя европейский рынок, и тем самым могли бы они диверсифицировать и обезопасить себя от каких-то будущих проблем и трудностей. Вот, кстати, хочу сказать, что завтра я вылетаю в Ашхабад. Там будет проведена четырехсторонняя встреча между Европейской комиссией, Марош Шефчович, вице-президент Еврокомиссии, будет в Ашхабаде. Будет уважаемый мой друг из Турции, министр энергетики Турции Танер Йылдыз. И, значит, ну, я буду, естественно, там, и наши туркменские коллеги. И мы будем обсуждать, конечно, вопрос возможностей поставок туркменского газа на европейский рынок, в чем заинтересовано, будем откровенны, прежде всего европейское сообщество. Спасибо.
Спасибо, господин министр. We will continue in English. There's a question right there. Is there a mic? Yes.
My name is Dusan Relic. I'm from the German Institute for International Security Affairs in Berlin, and I'd like to pick up on your initial question, Ariel. And your question was about enabling the countries of South and Eastern Europe to overcome their problems with energy. They don't only lack resources, they're also broke. They don't have the money to build anything new in the terms of energy. So my question goes to the Minister, Aliyev, whether he could envisage some kind of a fund which would help build the necessary infrastructure for energy also in Southern Eastern Europe, especially in the countries that are not members of the European Union and will not become members for the next 10 years or so.
Sorry, yeah. You know, it's a very important question for maybe Southeast European countries, but being Azerbaijan, you know, politician and oil man, it is very important for us to deliver our resources to European market. And we done it, you know, before 10, 15, 20 years, we are trying to do our best to deliver. And we implement such very capital costs, big capital cost projects like Baku Tbilisi Ceyhan, Baku Supsa, Baku Novorossiysk. After that, we, you know, implemented big gas pipeline projects. Now we are, like I just show for you, it is 47 billion US dollars which will be invested as a capital cost in all the projects, you know. That is why I think that it will depend how much Azerbaijan will be interested, you know, in delivering gas in these countries, and what will be resources. If it will be enough resources, big resources from Azerbaijan going to in the west direction, and especially to the Southeast European countries, I think that we can partially participate in these very important investment projects. Thank you.
And I will ask Prime Minister Cvetkovic to add from the perspective of potential clients.
Yeah, I would like to answer not only as a Prime Minister, but as an economist as well. You know, the transportation of gas is an activity, and you could look at that as a kind of a profitable activity that in which you are investing certain money, and later on you are charging those that are using your pipeline. In Serbia, we are paying a lot of money for the transportation of gas. So this is not just a payment, but also the mode of earning the money. This is A. B, the cost that probably would come to the hundreds of millions or billions, depending on the length of this pipeline, in which country it, as I said, will depend. This cost can be divided in few groups. One is land. Land normally is in the possession of the country, so the country can give the land without cash. This land, the value of this land will contribute to the new company that will distribute this gas. When we were discussing the South Stream, there was an idea that the money is provided by Russians. However, it will be given in a form of loan, and the Serbian side would have like 50%. I generally think that if something is profitable, you can easily raise the money. So I wouldn't consider that the lack of money will prevent any country of having especially some huge pipe that will give them a possibility to charge the other countries which are connected further.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else from the panel have a little intervention just to finish? And please keep your phones down. Thank you.
Just a few words. As I mentioned, and His Excellency also mentioned, now we are constructing TANAP with a capacity of 31 BCM. And Azerbaijan can only provide 16 billion. We are expecting that if any increase in production, I think the first will go that because we are spending a lot of money for that project. And secondly, with some technical adjustment, that capacity go up to 50 BCM. And I think the Azerbaijan extra production first will go to fill that capacity, because this is very important capacity. And maybe after that we will think that what they can do with the extra production in the future.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, if I may.
Of course.
For that questions, you know, we have now about the investments in the Southeast European countries or Balkans, you know, we have agreement with Albania, you know, now. And Azerbaijan will invest in Albania on the developing their gas network system, gas storages, yeah. And the same, it was signed with some agreements with Bulgaria. You know, and we are together with Bulgarian government, you know, we will take some very important measures to develop their network system. And not only, but we will invest in the petrochemical, in refineries, you know, in storages, on the gasification country, and so on. That is why, again, it will be depend, you know, from the opportunities and some circumstances. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. And the last part was an example how energy development enhances security, not diminishes from security. And I'm glad that Azerbaijan is playing such a prominent role in that, as well as Turkey, and in the future, Serbia and Israel. Thank you all very much. You were a wonderful audience.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you very much, Mr. Cohen. Thank you.